lads. That's everybody.
Well, I'll say.
All right,
that's a great thing.
Clear water, are these for use or just for decoration? Decoration or use? You haven't given us a glass, but it doesn't matter, I'll microphone it. Yep. Like when you get a win, it always, no matter what level, what sport you're playing, you get a win, it raises morale, and definitely felt that over the last couple of days.
Slovenia will be a very different challenge. Obviously away from home, 4 goals conceded. As a defender, what do you need to do differently?
I think the two forward players were good. Good in the last game. They've got a bit of a good reputation, so we'll have to be on it. We'll have to be better as a team, and how we're prepared, defensively, and also on the ball, stopping counter attacks, and they play quite direct football. So they've got a 4-4-2. They like to play. They drop off the game, try to hit you on the break, but also when they've got it, they like to play long, pick up second balls.
I guess at the outset of the campaign, Slovenia will be one of the teams that looked out for beatable, hopefully. Coming to this game, sort of top of the group, would you say it's been a surprise package so far?
Probably. I still think they are beatable. I don't think we're too far away in terms of results haven't gone our way in this campaign. But as a nation, I think they're probably similar to us in terms of where we view ourselves, and obviously fair play to them for taking advantage of the group and having a good campaign.
Thank you. Michael, first of all, can I just ask, is there any injuries, any update coming out of Saturday?
We have just a little bit of concern for Daniel Ballard. You just see how Daniel is. He sat out of training today, so we'll just see how he is over the next 24 hours. But everyone else is good.
Daniel would be a huge loss if he is missing, given Paddy's suspended.
Yeah, would be a big loss. Would obviously presents the opportunity for someone else. Paddy's suspension is a blow as well, given that the referee booked him basically just 10 seconds before he blew the final whistle. So that it was almost, I think, just something that we didn't need. But look, if the situation arises, I think we've got enough in the squad to cover it, and as I say, it gives someone else the opportunity.
When we look at the game in Ljubljana, and at the group as a whole, obviously there've been a number of sort of 1-0 defeats, tight games that you were in until the end. The defeat in Ljubljana is different to that. It's quite an open game, 4 goals conceded. How do you reflect back on that?
Well, we started the campaign really. You're always influenced a little bit by personnel and where they are in their club careers, I think. And we felt that, we started the campaign with 3-5-2. We looked at where we felt our strength was in a back three. Unfortunately, the likes of Jonny obviously was missing in the opening 2 games. So we changed the system for the first time, and it was the Ljubljana game. And maybe from a defensive point of view, maybe we didn't have enough time. Really, we played on the Thursday, so we worked as much as we could have on it. But I think there was a number of things. We didn't defend well enough as a team. Okay, and that was the first thing. But secondly, and we gave them, a dream start really with the goal that we gave up early. But I think our reaction to conceding in the game was very good, actually. We created a number of chances ourselves. Felt a little bit aggrieved that we didn't score more than 2, to be honest, with the chances that we created. They have a very good goalkeeper. He proved to be good on the night as well. And I think it's just, what we've seen since we've obviously had the game in Kazakhstan, and now obviously the game against San Marino. So tomorrow will test us. Hopefully we'll see a team which is better equipped to deal with this type of game. And as Jonny touched on, I do think it's a game where you have to compete. You have to compete in the middle of the pitch, possibly better than we did in the game in Ljubljana, and that's what we'll be aiming to do.
Michael, Smith was excellent on Saturday. How big a role does he have for this team going forward now? How impressed were you with his performance?
Look, he did great. You know, it's like anything. It's one game, and I think his response to getting the start was good. I think he earned it because I think the 2 appearances where he came off the bench in both Slovenia and Kazakhstan, he gave us something. And look, I think he's determined to prove. You know, he had a kind of long wait after making his international debut to add to the caps that he's had. He's in a good place with his club. And you know, it's down to Paul really about continuing in that form. You know, Saturday was a good game to be an attacking player in. This will be a different type of game. Your opportunities will not be the same. And obviously you'll have to maybe do more work out of possession as well. So it's a different kind of test, not just for him, but for any of the attacking players that we select.
And it's obviously Conor Hazard started on Saturday. Is he going to start tomorrow night, or is he number 1 going forward?
No, that was just... as I say, it was an opportunity to give Conor game time, so Bailey will start tomorrow night.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Michael, just on into Dan Ballard, was it a knock? Is it a muscle or?
He woke up with a bit of a thigh, sort of a little tightness in his thigh, so we've just sort of managed it over the last 48 hours. So yeah, he didn't feel it in the game actually, he just felt it afterwards, so it wasn't something that he was playing through or anything like that, because we could have obviously taken him off but he didn't alert us to anything during the game. He didn't feel it during the game. It's just something which has come on post game.
Yeah. And with Paddy suspended, would you consider calling somebody up just as cover there, or?
Well, we've the option to bring someone. You know, we have enough cover, I think, in our group. Obviously, we've Owen Toll. We have Trey has played at centre back at his club. Shea Charles has played as a centre back as well. So I think we have enough in the squad without calling anyone up. What we may do is look to add someone out of the 21s. They obviously play tonight. So I think we'll compensate for if Daniel doesn't make it. We'll compensate obviously within the group that we have.
Yeah. And obviously it tends to be a different game to what Saturday was. Jonny said there about how he still thinks they're beatable. And given it's a team with shit goals against away, does it sort of say something about the group that we're coming here to Windsor now and you feel we can still beat them?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like Jonny was 100% right. He says, look, they're a good team. They're I would say a tier 2 team at the minute, and they're doing well. They've got, I think, probably what has given them an edge in this campaign is obviously the young striker Sesko and the goalkeeper O'Black. You know, they've got two players there that play at the highest level of European football. So that can give your team an edge. It can make you from, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more potent than maybe what you are without those types of players. So that's what we have to deal with. I think otherwise they're quite an experienced team, not necessarily in terms of having 60, 70, 80 caps, but where they are age-wise in their careers. They don't have many young players other than Sesko really around the team at this minute in time. So I think they've got a tried and trusted kind of formula that the coach has always played. And obviously, as I say, to have that level of goalkeeper and to have that level of striker just gives you an extra little edge. And I think that's probably been the biggest thing for them in this campaign, that they've had good performances, and a lot has been down to those key players.
You have these double headers, Michael. Would you have had teams for tomorrow night's game in your head before Saturday, or the players on Saturday had a chance to sort of play their way into the team as such?
No, the players on Saturday had the opportunity was there. I don't think we're at the stage yet where we have a strong enough squad where we can make 5 or 6 changes and not expect to see a difference there. We have to try and get as many players up to the level as we can. Getting them on the pitch helps them do that. So yeah, we'll make changes to the team tomorrow night, but and they may be forced upon us. But the other thing is to try and get consistency in the players, because you want players to adapt and be able to play 2 games, to be able to deal with 2 international games in quick succession and keep the level of the performance up. And the only way to do that is obviously give them that experience.
Jonny, just when you're playing a team that we have conceded goals against a few weeks ago, just as a defensive unit as such, does that sort of make you more determined to sort of try and keep a clean sheet?
Well, I think you're always trying to keep clean sheets and stop the attacking players, and make it really, you're going to be in for a tough night. And I think, like I said in the press conference the other day, was actually looking forward to seeing if we learned from it, even myself included on a personal level. Always trying to look to can you improve, learn from previous mistakes, and I think that's the exciting thing about it going into the game. That it's another test for us, and a test that like I say, have we learned from that match?
When you hear the Orban to him on Saturday, was that rehearsed? Did you know it was going to go to him if you were going off, or was it just there were some other sort of senior players on the pitch?
No, I was walking over to give it to Josh, but there was a triple sub, so Josh kind of said, "Jonny, hold on a minute." I think he was expecting his number to go up for some reason. And then Michaels shouted Ballard, or I don't know if it was Ballard or Hazard, so it just went Ballard. No, he said Dan, give it to Dan. So I mean, I think with Dan, like he's, I think you can see like in his stature, the way he handles himself and his performances for Northern Ireland. It's he was absolutely chuffed with it afterwards, over the moon, and a real honour for him. And I think he'll be a senior player for Northern Ireland for a long time. And if that's, I don't know, I feel like I'm speaking on Michael's behalf here, but I'm sure that's the way it'll go. I mean, he was the worthy man to have it after myself the other night.
Just after Jonny, a bit of a strange one. Sorry, I was there as a punter on Saturday with two lads, and when that sort of music came in over through the speaker, it sounded really weird in the stand. The players.
I wasn't aware of it until someone mentioned it after. No, I honestly didn't hear it. Thank you.
Michael, you touched on Slovenia and being a tier 2 team. Do you see those similarities between them and us to get into the Euros in 2016, where teams from every region have been?
Yeah, I think there is a bit of that. I think, look, it's very, very difficult to climb to be a tier 1 team, based on just the population you have in your country alone can challenge you on that. But I think they're like they've had a lot of campaigns where they've sort of been in that third, fourth position in the group. Maybe have come away a little bit disappointed and think, God, we could have done a little bit better there. But now, obviously, they've come into this campaign and they're getting consistent results. I think 5 wins in itself, a draw and a loss. So they've got that consistency in them. And sometimes you need to go through a couple of those disappointments in those campaigns to get to that. As I said, one or two players can come in and change your team, can make a real difference to your team, and I think they're seeing the benefit of that as well. But like there's in any group, I think there's not a lot between a lot of those. If you look at Finland, for example, or the pot 2 team in our group, but they're now the situation is out of their hands really a little bit in terms of qualification. So I think it just is the nature of European football at that level.
In terms of you seeing the benefit, you see another benefit of those younger players that be able to get game time on Saturday in a game that, yes, it's still a tough game, but in terms of the context of the rest of the game, it's one of their easier ones.
Well, we finished the game, I think, with 5 under-21s on the pitch, and the rationale behind that is to give them minutes. It's always a big thing to step up and play for your country. It's always a massive thing, and it's a big change mentally for a player to go from that situation. Some players can come in and it's no problem, they just take to it straight away. Other players take longer, they take longer to adapt. Sometimes they need to be in the squad longer before they get their opportunity. Sometimes they come in and play straight away. Jonny came in and played at 18, I went through that myself as well. You have different scenarios for every player. But I think that what we have to, is be mindful of is to try and get as many minutes into as many players as possible going forward. Because when, as I touched on previously, when I named the squad, is that when we come around to March 2025, the squad, we could be without some more experienced players at that point in time. We just don't know. So we need to make sure that the squad is as resilient and as robust as possible.
This stage of your career, does it still provide a different test? Going up against a guy of that size?
No, I think I've played against a lot of different strikers over the years, so I don't feel like I'm seeing anything new. Different if I was to come up against Mbappe or something like that, that might be a different question. But like I said, I've played against so many good strikers over the years, so I think it's more about your own sort of personal challenge getting into the game, what you challenge yourself to. I think especially as you get older, you kind of you learn that's the best way to approach most games.
And Stacy, in terms of Portsmouth's goal was disallowed, it was your diagonal ball. You played one of those for Bruno Fernandes for United. I mean, how positive is having the way you play in terms of speaking to wide players or lively wide players? You like to the ball and play that?
No, I think sometimes the long pass can be a good pass, and they always look good, don't they, when they come off? Sometimes they don't always come off. I played a few others that didn't come off, so I think you're just you're laughing. Like when you've got time on the ball, you want to see people running and trying to get in behind, and I think it's always been a part of football, and I try and play them passes if I get the chance to. Thank you.
I think it was a big boost really for him. You could see after the game he was delighted with it. He hasn't scored yet for St Mirren, and I think his performances have been good. I still think he's adapting a little bit to that sort of full-time environment where you're playing regularly as well. He's at that point where he probably wants to finish a lot more games than maybe he's finishing at this minute in time, because typically that's when you can get those opportunities. It was in the last 10 minutes when he scored in the game on Saturday, although he's fresh coming into the game. But Connor's got a lot to offer, whether he's still at an early part. When I look at him coming from the Irish League, it's October, and he's playing international football, he's playing club football, he's playing a lot of big games, he's adapting to everything, obviously living away from home. There's a lot there for a player in a short space of time, but he's taking it all in his stride, and I think the goal will help him going back to St Mirren. I know how highly he's thought of there, but it's the one thing that they want to see add to his game, and I know he felt a bit of relief in himself. He scored with his right foot as well, which I think he surprised himself that he managed to make contact as well as he does, because he doesn't use it very often. Well, look, in this system you need your wide players to score. That's why we played Dale, really, because we feel Dale's more like a second striker, and I think he proved that, really. Obviously the goal disallowed for offside, and he had the good chance in the second half, which he'd be disappointed he didn't take. But you need players that'll not just be wingers, they'll penetrate the last line and for through passes, and hopefully we've tried to build a team in a very short space of time which is more of a possession based team. I think the only real balance of possession in any of the games that was away in Copenhagen when we didn't have, so we've had quite a lot of the ball, but we have to penetrate a little bit better. That's where we've been frustrated, and that's why Jonny touched on it there with the longer pass. We've emphasised that as well, because you could play in front of teams a little bit, particularly in a game like Saturday, you could end up playing just playing in front of teams and not creating as much as we did. So I think we had good variation, and you certainly wide players with an eye for a goal is obviously crucial in that system.
Yeah, and look, a lot of them, it's their first campaign. Maybe some of them have been around a wee bit longer than that. But I didn't have a good campaign until I was 27. Apart from the first one that came in, it was off to a good start. But so I know there's ups and downs in international football, and I think the most important thing is to keep turning up, keep coming here, and we talked about this the other day as well, that it's a great place for them all to come. Things throughout your career, your club career, maybe go up and down as well. So this is a real safe place for them. Hopefully Michael's here for another long time, like he was for me at the start of my career, and it gives you that sort of real base. You come back, you feel part of something, and like I say, the fans will always be there. They'll always support them. So it's a great place to come play. Winning games is what it's all about, and if you can take anything from that, take the confidence and take the belief, you can go and beat teams, and hopefully do that again on Tuesday night. Thank you.
Jonny, correct me if I'm wrong, was Slovenia your first 90 minutes of the season?
No, don't think so.
Do you feel that in the...
Oh, do you mean the last game?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, it might have been actually. Yes, yeah. You're probably right.
Just thinking that you are now a month later, but you play a lot more football. Do you feel in yourself that you're more up to speed?
Definitely, I think at the time when I played those two internationals, I hadn't, like I say, I don't think you're right. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't completed 90 minutes until those two games. I definitely felt it a lot in the Kazakhstan game, but they were a great benefit to me, the two of the games, and I came away after. I was a bit disappointed with the results, but on a personal side, that I was able to sort of get those minutes. And just getting into the rhythm of playing matches and going into your battles and reading the game. They're important that you have them on a regular basis. So yeah, it was good for me.
It's been a incredible comeback for yourself. Because even last season, with injuries, unless you're relegated, here you are now. You're back. You're captain Northern Ireland. You're back playing regularly for Man United. You never foreseen this, or I don't know. What do you think about it?
No, definitely, and I think obviously I went through a stage last year where I started thinking, maybe you start thinking maybe it is coming to an end, everything, So there's no doubt that I did have those thoughts at times because I couldn't get over the injuries. Every time I came back, breaking down, and I had lots of people telling me like, "There's no way you're close to finishing," but you kind of have to prove that to yourself, and I feel like I've been able to do that, and obviously training a lot, getting all the training behind me, and completing matches. Every time you complete a match, you sort of think, right, there's another one I can do that, and sometimes you just having to confirm that to yourself. And I've been pleased to be able to go through that process, and I feel like I'm in a good place.
And then just one from Michael. I'm sorry to bring this up, but on Saturday there's a few chants from some of the fans about Casement Park. What do you think about that, and what do you think about the
I can give you the same answer I gave you Friday, which is, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion on it. This is obviously what the association have done in terms of the bid. There's a lot of opinion on that. We have to obviously take that into account. The supporters, of course, are equally as important as anyone in this situation. But you're asking me, I can't change it, so I don't know how many times I'm going to be asked it, but I can't change it. So the situation as it stands at the minute, going forward to 2028, then obviously I would like to see it supported. As I said, I think it's really important that we get the opportunity to play and be a host nation. But equally, obviously, I respect the opinions of everyone in terms of what their view may or may not be on it.
And then where do you stand with all Hamas Israel? Stephen, thank you, Dave. And it's great to have you back.
Yeah, great, yeah.
Just following on from David's first question, do you think in any shape or form the Casement Park chant affects your team? Perhaps not on Saturday, but maybe going forward as it continues?
No, I don't think it affects the team directly, but it means they're not saying something positive about the team, for example. So they're not singing Green and White Army, they're singing something else or whatever that may be. So it can affect the atmosphere in the stadium, I think, possibly, But look, I think there was it didn't give me any great concern during the game, to be honest. And as I say, the big thing is to back the team, and particularly when the younger players want to play in a positive atmosphere, and I think hopefully people see a lot of them are trying to do the right things. It's big for them all. You sense it for all of the younger ones when they come to play, and particularly the lads who come over who come to us through eligibility. Their families are over at the games and everything. So I think this has been such a positive place to play that since the stadium's been redeveloped, that I think we should hang on to that. So we should.
So what are you hoping for from the atmosphere tomorrow night?
Well, hopefully we'll get a positive performance and we'll get a positive atmosphere in the stadium.
And if they start singing Casement Park again, doesn't bother you?
Well, there's not much I can do about it. So why would it bother about, It's a bit like saying if there's someone sitting behind the dugout shouting abuse at me, there's nothing I can do about that either. So I'll focus on what I can do with the team and be positive with the team. And look, one thing I've learned after 30-odd years in the game as both a player and a manager is you have no control of what people shout when they come to a football match. You just have to live with that and you just have to deal with it, and that's what we'll do.
Okay. Did the performances at the weekend change your thinking about about who you'll play tomorrow night, Michael?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, we did a few things that, you know, obviously we played McNair back in midfield in the game on Saturday. We brought freshness in terms of Dale and Paul coming in. Josh started. I think Josh is in a better place fitness-wise than he was certainly in March and in September. I don't think either of those games he was anywhere near what he could be where he is now. And I think we saw that in what he gave the team. It's nice to have that physical presence again back up front. And yeah, look, as I said, I can't say there'll not be changes to the team, but equally, I think that we have to try and get consistency into the team as well, and touched on getting players that can, you know, churn out 90 minutes, and if they can't go 90 minutes in the second game, they can churn out, you know, 60, 75, and then you have the right replacements to come in and freshen it up. I think it's par for the game now that players accept that, really, particularly in international football, and when you play twice, you're probably going to get like a 16-man game. Most teams are using their 5 substitutes. So, you know, a lot of positions are almost like shared positions a little bit in terms of the minutes.
In terms of tactical challenge, given what happened over there and how sharp they've been, they're coming in form, how much do you relish something like this?
Yeah, look, I don't think where we've talked about, and since we came in, actually, you know, day one we showed the lads where we need to be better out of possession in the Slovenia game, you know, and so it was important that we addressed that, because we were then focusing on a game where we were going to have a lot of the ball. We could have easily just skimmed over that, so it wasn't the case. We brought it right to the fore and said, look, we want to see these same things. We need to build a structure which helps us, not just, you know, in all games, that we have consistency in what we do as a team when we're not in possession of the ball. We got just a little bit ragged in Slovenia. We kind of chased the ball a little bit, and we had younger players. That's natural, maybe just reacting instinctively. So we've tried to bring a more structured approach into how we play the game. So that's how, you know, what we've worked on in terms of on the training pitch, particularly today on the grass out there, and also, you know, in terms of what we've done in the analysis room as well. It's just getting, you know, one of the challenges you always have in international football is players play differently at their clubs. Some players will play on a more man-to-man basis, and that's what they're asked to do at their club. We aren't at a point where we need to have a good structure to play both with the ball and without the ball, and that's what most of this week has been about. And it's been the longest week we've had leading into the game. So hopefully, as I say, we see evidence of that tomorrow night.
Daniel Finley's son, he was out.
Mm-hmm.
Has he just come in for training?
He's just come in for training today, yeah, because he is suspended, I think, for Linfield at the minute in time. So Daniel just joined up. We needed a centre back to walk through some stuff, so he was a perfect candidate, and obviously he's been previously in the 21s.
Good stuff. Okay, thanks. Johnny, you're probably the best person to ask them. Does it affect players, you know, whenever you're hearing songs at the Casement Park? And
What was he singing?
well, that's a matter of debate.
How does it go, Stephen?
Yeah. As paraphrase, singing something about putting in a GA ground called Casement Park where the sun doesn't.
I heard a wee bit of it when I was on the bench, but just what Michael said, really. We were trying to concentrate on the game.
Fair enough. Okay. Shay Charles. He's a bit like you. Came in, coasted through his first few games. How good could he be for Northern Ireland?
He's some player. I mean, I think, you know, when he first came into the squad, you say, oh, he's got a lot of ability, but he looks like he's really developing even more now, and that's only in the space of a couple of years. You can see he's sort of filling out, and he's the way he really glides over the pitch, and he's at a good club. Obviously, he's left Man City to go to Southampton, but he seems to have a good manager, wants to play football, which will suit him, and I think he's coming on, and you know, once he starts imposing himself a lot more on the pitch, he's going to be. I think he can go to wherever he wants to go if he's got all the ability for it.
Defender or midfielder, do you think? Down the line?
I don't know, actually. I think he's looking pretty good in midfield, to be honest. But like, a lot of midfielders do end up going back and playing centre back because of the ball playing abilities, and obviously at centre back now you're tasked with, you know, having that and being able to do that. So if that's where he ends up, then, you know, he'll still be a real asset to anyone.
And to end on a cheery note, what was it like getting your presentation from Big Pat
It was great. When we were in the lineup, I couldn't. The speaker system couldn't actually hear it on the pitch. Funny enough, so
Surprise, surprise.
just, which is why I didn't hear the other thing coming in. But but for Pat to be able to present that to me, and obviously Pat Jennings has been the name that's been like at the top of the appearance charts for almost all my time playing here. So for him to sort of to come on the pitch and present that was a real honour. What a gentleman, and he's an absolute legend. So yeah, it was a great moment, and to be able to bring my kids onto the pitch was amazing too.
He played beyond 40. Did it give you any ideas? Just
Less running them goalkeepers, though, is it?
This is a defender as well. What do you think?
I don't know. You never know. We'll see. Potentially.
I think he did. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Keep picking, you know.
Yeah, regardless, yeah.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Cheers.
Right, John.